Hey everyone, it's Gina. You're listening to Seer Sessions. Today's episode is the opening of a brand new series of hypnotic journeys for you. I created these to help you become crystal clear on who you're becoming in the next year and what that evolution really looks like for you. But before we get into that, I want to share something with you. As many of you know, my very last round of single one-on-one sessions has sold out. I'll be working through those sessions over the next couple months. After that, I'm pivoting. In early 2026, I'll be launching a brand new community space where we can gather around these hypnotic journeys. You can share your experience, listen to other people's experience, ask questions, hear other people's questions, join group hypnotic journeys, and just be around people who are also committed to this expansion of awareness and deeper look within themselves. If you want to be a part of that community, or if you want to be the first to know anytime I have an offering, make sure you're on my email list. It's always my hope that I can sell things out just by sending emails to my email list. And outside of that, I don't promote much. So if working with me is something you want to do in 2026, make sure you're on that email list. In today's episode, I'm talking to you about the series of 3 hypnotic journeys and the theme that goes with it. And then I'm going to share what my higher self said about this theme. And I got my journal right here. I pulled out my journal, channeled my higher self, and I'm going to read it to you. I want to root this series into a little story. If you were to meet me today, right now, and you didn't know anything about my past, you might assume my life just kind of happened this way. I work for myself. I have respectful, kind, interesting clients. I created a podcast that has grown into a small but very mighty and engaged community. I've hiked thousands of miles. I've been able to road trip over 100,000 miles alone in the last 4.5 years. I hike regularly in iconic places like Joshua Tree National Park, the Grand Canyon. These places I used to see in pictures, on posters, in magazines, places I never really imagined I would know, let alone feel like I know them like a good friend. People will sometimes say, "Oh, you're so lucky." Or the classic one I used to get all the time, "What does your husband think about all this travel?" And I can laugh at that now because those people are no longer in that role in my life. And neither is that version of me. My life is in the context of a society that makes some things easier and some things more difficult for me. But what I've maximized in what's available to me was because I became painfully clear who I was becoming, and I rearranged my life to become her. But let me take you back for a second. I grew up in a small town surrounded by people that had a lot of unhealed patterns that shaped me in a way I didn't really understand until much later, regardless of any reason why anyone acted the way they did or how they learned those behaviors. I came out of that incredibly hypervigilant. And let me tell you what, hypervigilance is so expensive. It's like leaving every light on in your house 24 hours a day. You lose so much energy and you don't even know that your light is being dim. For most of my life, I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my safety. I didn't trust my instincts. I didn't trust my judgment, even though I have extensive education. For example, with hiking, I never trusted myself to really push myself, even though my entire university degree is about leadership, wilderness techniques, safety protocols, outdoor conduct, very basic safety skills. It didn't matter what I knew, my body didn't believe me. If you've lived with an overactive survival system, you know exactly what I mean. It steals your energy, it steals your clarity, and it steals your future self because you never have enough energy or clarity or internal space to hear the signals of who you're becoming. My life started to change the moment I started to ask myself, who am I becoming? And what in my life is keeping me from becoming her? When you get clear on that, you start making decisions you never would have made before. You stop abandoning yourself. You start honoring your intuition. You start noticing clearly what drains you and what replenishes you. Your nervous system gets quieter and calmer. Your energy comes back. One of the clearest examples of this for me was my 37-mile hike in one day in Joshua Tree National Park. I started before dawn in the pitch black, all alone. No one around, just me and some coyotes howling in the distance. Outside of that, it was that thick, ancient silence that I only feel in Joshua Tree National Park. 5 years ago, There is no way that version of me wouldn't have even planned this hike. It wasn't even in the realm of possibility or what I thought was possible for me, mentally or physically. And I would not have trusted myself to be alone in the wilderness for that amount of time with no phone service, not a lot of access roads, no way to communicate those access roads or where I was. It was just straight through, physically and mentally demanding. And can I take care of myself? 5 years ago, the answer to that was that's not even an option. I would have been too afraid, too stuck in old patterns, too convinced I wasn't capable or strong enough or smart enough. But the woman who did that hike just a couple months ago, the one who walked not super confidently, but confidently into the dark down that trail, that version of me did not happen overnight. I have scratched her out. She's the result of years of healing, slowing down, pulling up roots of things that don't fit or matter, and pulling energy back from places it should have never been. And you know what? And on that hike, I wasn't trying to prove anything. I wasn't performing strength. I never felt like I was pretending. I was strong, I was clear, and I was aligned with who I am becoming, because this is just the beginning. If you think that 37-mile hike across Joshua Tree is big, you should hear what I have planned for 2026. More on that soon. Doing that hike at 45 years old, at 35 years old, my mind, my body, I was not strong enough physically, mentally, or emotionally to do even half that distance of a hike. I would have had twice that pain at least. Mental and physical pain, by the way. But the version of me here today, she knows exactly where she's going and exactly how she's getting there. I get stronger every single year. I listen inward more than I do outward. I hear it all, but I'm listening inward. I have arranged my life around alignment and away from expectation. And that's what these 3 hypnotic journeys are really about. Who are you becoming? And what needs to shift so you can actually step into that version of yourself? Let's talk about these 3 hypnotic journeys that I created within this theme of becoming. These journeys are designed to support you from 3 different angles: past life identity, experiencing another lifetime, new perspectives, new ways of being, accessing your higher self and the clarity that comes with it, and then setting your subconscious emotional tone with a directive nighttime hypnotic journey. They all work together. They build on each other. They pull your energy back to you gently, powerfully, into alignment with who you're becoming next year. The first journey is one of the most powerful past life journeys I've ever created on this podcast. It introduces you to a version of you that has mastered qualities, strengths, gifts that you came here to manifest and create in your life today. You'll experience that other lifetime and experience what it feels like to have those things run through you effortlessly. This will help increase clarity, confidence, direction, purpose, and the self-trust you need to get you moving. Now, if you're skeptical about past lives, don't worry. This journey still works. I have worked with plenty of people who are like, I don't know if I believe in past lives. And you know what? I don't know if I believe past lives, but what I do know is this hypnotic journey allows you to have an experience that feels so real. It feels like a memory of another lifetime. And whether you believe it's true or not, what we do is take metaphor from it. Take this as a symbolic representation and a somatic practice on who you're becoming. After you move through those scenes, those memories from another lifetime, then we move into a space of reflection. You'll be able to reflect and process that life even more and learn exactly how you can bring those strengths and gifts that you have mastered in that other life, bring that mastery into this life. Our second hypnotic journey in this series is a journey to your higher self. So you can connect with your higher self, be in that evolved energy of you, and gain some clarity so you can start the next year in alignment with the life you came here to create. This journey is all about clearing out the noise, the pressure, the shoulds, the expectations, and tuning in to your higher knowing. This hypnotic journey will help you explore what your higher self wants you to focus on and feel in the upcoming year. What inner strengths did you gain in the last year that you can carry forward into next year? What What qualities of this future version of you do you already embody? With this clarity, you'll see what you're meant to prioritize as you move into this new year, what signals you should pay attention to within your body and your intuition, and what the next aligned step is for you in this process. This journey refines or resets your internal compass. It brings you back to yourself and your clarity. And the third journey within this series is a nighttime hypnotic journey designed for you to listen at bedtime to end the day with gratitude. It's the perfect sleep ritual for the beginning of a new year. Reset that default setting to a more elevated state of gratitude. This isn't about journaling. This isn't about affirmations. This is about an embodied reset, feeling gratitude in your body and practicing that neuroplasticity between your brain and your body's ability to genuinely, spontaneously, authentically feel gratitude. This is not about conjuring gratitude through writing a list or reflecting on your day, or this is different. This is deeper and it's an emotional reset. When your body remembers how to access gratitude naturally without effort, your emotional default setting shifts and then your life shifts. This hypnotic journey, it'll help you release the day, open space for the new version you're becoming, sleep more deeply, and set the energetic tone for the next year. If you listen to this journey every night for 30 nights, your subconscious mind and your body will begin learning that gratitude is a default setting. It's safe, it's familiar, and it's where your body and your mind will want to be. That's how it becomes your baseline. So these three hypnotic journeys work together. I recommend doing the past life journey and the higher self journey one time at some point this month, and then listening to the third hypnotic journey every night for 30 nights. These journeys meet you at the level you're at now and help you become the next version of yourself. Who you've been doesn't have to matter. What you were taught to believe about life or what you were capable of doesn't have to matter. What matters is who you're becoming, and these journeys are here to support you in that evolution. Okay, now I'm going to share with you, I put myself into that trance state connected with my higher self energy, and I asked the question, what else can we know when it comes to visioning something new? All right, here's what we got. To stop something or to want something else, you need to do and be different. You need to do things different and be different, which reminds me of something that about a year ago my higher self was saying to me over and over. If shit's gotta change, then shit's gotta change. And it was a year ago, so I was coming off a very expansive year. I did many things in 2024 that rang my bell, expanded my awareness. I mean, a little bit too much. I wouldn't recommend most of what I did in a year. And I was in this space where it was like I could clearly see where I was going, and where I was very different. And I started to see all these things that I used to say, I was never going to do that, or I hate that, or I hate it when people do that. And I was starting to see that a lot of these beliefs that I held about these benign actions or way of being that I just grabbed on and started to judge negatively, it was like, oh, you're going to have to do some of those things if you want to get to where you're going. And I was always being confronted, it felt like, for a while at the beginning of this change after 2024 of I don't want to do that. Or, I've always said that's silly when people do X and now I'm doing X. And I really had to get over that. I had to get over this judgment that I had against other people. And now I'm doing that thing for good reason. And then finding a way to make that thing my version of that thing so I don't feel like a fraud when I'm doing it. So if you don't like where you're at, you might have to do a bunch of shit that you don't want to do to get to where you're going. How are you going to get even more clear about who you are and where you're going so you're motivated and you're able to move through these things that used to be obstacles for you? We are an energetic being. Everything is energy and everything vibrates. So the rate at which you vibrate is your frequency. Grief, fear, stress, anxiety, worry, lack of trust, anger, hatred, resentment, all of those things we can feel. Those things bring us down. And so my higher self was reminding me, be in the energetic field of this person as well. So don't only get clear on where you're going and who you need to be, which is what these hypnotic journeys are for, but also reset your emotional default setting. So if you're typically in kind of this soup of resentment, dread, worry, what can you do on the inside to actively shift that? Choose to see things you're grateful for, even though there's plenty of things to be upset about. Yes, see it all. Take action on the things that need to change, on the injustices in this world, but I'm talking about you. your inner world. You need to make that change for yourself. And that was something that was really drilled into me by my higher self about a year ago. I feel way more empowered, strong, creative, open, wise, more expanded awareness because I did that work on the inside and I chose to focus on the things that needed my attention in that moment, even if they bring me down. That's life, right? But the moment I could choose different, the moment I could focus on something that made me feel peace, love, joy, gratitude, instead of reminiscing, chewing on these negative thoughts and resentments or patterns in my head that just continually brought me down. Get clear on who you're becoming. And that's that third hypnotic journey. That's why I made it all about gratitude. It's this lighter, loving state. And so if you can clear the emotions and fall asleep in that gratitude state, you're practicing that state all night. And so it helps you just feel lighter, more gratitude as you move through the next day. If you listen every single night for 30 nights or more, that effect is just cumulative. Okay, what else we got here? Think vision, think direction, think being. We grow and evolve in the direction we're facing. We need to let go of the things that no longer serve us. That was the last 3 hypnotic journeys, letting go. And we need to grab on to the vision of who we're becoming. Take those steps, become that person with your external actions. Do it with your internal environment. And then one more thing. It says, in this journey, if you feel guilty about letting go or taking action, don't bypass that guilt. Pause, check in with your higher self about that. Oftentimes, guilt means there needs to be more clarity and or more alignment of beliefs or values. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you feel guilty about this thing, don't let that block you. Let that guilt allow you to turn and question it and think, how can I make this more in alignment with where I'm going and how I'm becoming? So even a letting go doesn't necessarily mean we have to cut everybody out of our life. It could just be letting go of certain roles, letting go of codependent behaviors that we have, letting go of overgiving, letting go of resentment, letting go of transactional love. So those are the 3 hypnotic journeys. Okay, everyone, that is our episode for today. Thanks so much for being here. You can learn more about my work at seersessions.com. Hey, sorry, that's a little chihuahua under the bed.